everyone. It's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC, finally back with another 10-ish minute review. Before I begin, a couple of things. I haven't done this for a little bit. We haven't done the big show for a little bit because of what happened with Sean and Debbie. So the first thing I wanted to say to you was thank you for all the nice things you said to them. They appreciated all the support and the prayers that you guys threw out there. Also, some of you contributed to the GoFundMe page. Thank you so much for that. I know I've talked to both Sean and Debbie, and they're really, really appreciative of, yes, the money, but even more importantly, because you guys know their faith, the prayers that you guys threw out. It was very difficult for everybody. But Sean even said to us, the show's got to go on, so continue. And that's what we're going to do. So that's why it's been a while. But anyway, I'm back and I'm going to watch a bunch of films this week. This is the first one I'm going to watch. And this is off the viewer suggestion list that didn't make the wheel for the big show. Okay. So this movie is 2015's Baby, which was recommended by Thumbs Up 341. That's easy to pronounce. Thumbs Up 341. So I want to read how Thumbs Up sold it to us. Okay, here we go. Since you liked both the films of director Neeraj Pandey, Wednesday and Special 26, I recommend you to watch his other film, Baby, 2015. It is related to terrorism, starring Akshay Kumar, who you guys know I'm a big fan of, and Anupam Kher in the role of an intelligence officer. I hope Ralph likes this movie more than the other two. Should I be offended by that? Oh, you mean the other two movies? Okay. Well, I don't know how to convince someone to watch the movie, but I tried my best. Hope you will consider my request, and please let me know whether you will watch it or not. Thumbs Up 341. I watched it. Okay. So, first of all, Akshay Kumar, I'm really becoming a much bigger fan of. He's very different than like Shah Rukh Khan and my favorite Amir Khan, and even I think he's probably more like Ajay Devgan. But I really like him. I also like the fact he does his own stunts. Okay, I think that's impressive. But anyway, this is directed by Neeraj Pandey, who wrote and directed A Wednesday and Special 26, which Ralph and I watched A Wednesday, and the whole gang watched Special 26. It stars Akshay Kumar, who, I mean, I've seen a bunch of films of him, OMG 1 and 2, Sooryavanshi, and Kesari, amongst others. Danny Denzongpa, who was in the 1990 version of Agnipath. We watched the more current version. And he was in Bang Bang also, which I saw. Rana Daggubati, who was in Bahubali 1 and 2. Taapsee Pannu, who was in Pink, who I really like. And Anupam Kher, who was in On Wednesday. He was great in that. Special 26. Actually, he's great in everything I've seen. And Singham Returns. The thing about Akshay Kumar, he was a co-producer on it. He also donated half his salary to the Indian defense. In this movie, let me start with this. At the time of this taping, there's a lot going on with Israel and Gaza and Palestine. And this is about Muslim terrorism against India. So it's appropriate, and there's definitely good guys and bad guys, although the ATS, the Anti-Terrorism Squad, has a license to do just about anything they want for the greater good. And the movie gets right into it with an amazing chase scene and a fight scene. Now this is this is 2015, so there's going to be spoilers, so I'm sure most of you have already seen this. But the scene, so one of the ATS is a traitor, and he gets one of his teammates caught, and they're torturing the hell out of him, and it's pretty brutal. Well, Akshay's character comes back to save him, and he kills all the terrorists except for the one traitor. And the guy, his teammate who was tied up to a chair, was I'm assuming he was dead, or he was close to being dead. but Akshay shot him a couple of times before he went after the other guy. So that's how it works. It's kind of like Mission Impossible. You know, if you get caught, no one's going to admit they know you. So it definitely had that vibe to it. Now he finally catches up with the guy, and there is an amazing, first, it's an amazing chase, but it's an amazing fight scene. And it goes on for a while, and they're really kicking the crap out of each other. But it's really well done. And ultimately, the guy gets away. Well, he gets away metaphorically. Let's put it that way. So then they show you the actual villain. There's a lot of villains in this, but there's one head villain. Okay. And at one point he's talking to this giant crowd, and the camera comes up on his eyes real close, and there are flames in his eyes. How's that for subtle identifying who the bad guy is? He's got this big scraggly beard. So you know he's the bad guy. Now there's a bureaucracy with all the bad guys, and they have to go through the pecking order, which they do. And that's how they end up, this terrorist who got caught, Bali, I think his name was. He has this great escape scene where, you know, it's a typical thing where they're transferring him, and you got the van, you get the two cop cars on either side, and they're driving, and they get detoured, you know, and apparently they've never seen a movie where a terrorist escapes, because that's always what they do. But the way they did it was really interesting. They kind of pushed him off a bridge, and the truck was teetering, and the truck actually fell with the guy they were trying to free in the truck, and he gets banged up. And to show you how nasty he is, there's a bunch of cops in the back of the van, you know, unconscious and bloodied up, and he pulls out one of the guns and kills them all, and then walks casually to his car. So now they got to go after him. So they now Akshay, who's just badass super cop, they show you his home life. Now, if I was to say there's any criticism of the film, because I love this film, my wife actually watched the second half of it, and she says, I wish I watched the first half of it. So she might even watch it, because it was tense. The second half was really tense. But anyhow, he goes back to his family, his wife and two kids. She doesn't know what he does, but she knows that he's lying. Whenever he says he's at a conference, he's lying. I kind of felt like, and this movie was I don't know, 2 hours 35 minutes, something like that. 2 hours and 40 minutes. So they could have probably done a little more development on the family dynamic, because what they did was they just wanted to show you that there are consequences that if something happens to him with his family. But it was I almost felt like it wasn't necessary for his character, because they didn't do enough with her or the kids. So I thought it was kind of a waste. And then throughout the movie, because he's always on assignment, he just talks to her on the phone and just says, I'm at a conference. Like every scene was, I'm at a conference. So I didn't like that very much. I wish they did more with that, so there'd be really weight to the consequences, but they didn't. But anyway, that's my only criticism. Well, no, there's some other small ones. Like I'll tell you another one I have, and I've seen this in a couple of these films. Why is it that when in these Indian movies, when they're trailing somebody, they're only about 15 feet away, right? Like in this film, there's a scene where one of the bad guys is being escorted by the woman, Shabana, and they're going back to a hotel, and Akshay's character is following them. And at one point, he's like 10 feet away. And here's the other thing. When you're following somebody, you're supposed to be nondescript, right? So Akshay decides to wear a New York Yankee cap. Okay. Now, I'm a Red Sox fan, so you know I hate the Yankees. But to me, that would be something that somebody would notice. You don't see a lot of New York Yankee caps in Indian movies. So I did find that a little bit annoying. And the only other complaint I had was there's a big scene where they're going, again, back to the hotel. He's going to take her to the hotel to get something, the bad guy, and Akshay's following. So he's got to get in his car to follow them, and his car won't start. Holy convenient plot line, Batman. Now, that's the bad thing. The good thing was he ends up in a taxi, and it was a hilarious scene because the taxi's going really slow, and he's got to get to this hotel fast, right? And you can see the frustration on his face. And the taxi driver is going really, really slow. Finally, he says, "Pull over." So he starts to pull over. Then it jump cuts, and now it shows Akshay driving. So I like that, but the fact that the car wouldn't start was kind of ridiculous to me. Anyway, so the reason why I brought up the family too was the one line, which was kind of, so she knows he's lying, but she doesn't know what he does and how dangerous it is. But she says to him, wait, I want to get this right. Oh yeah, just don't die. That's the line she says to him. Yeah, who writes that? Anyway, so now another thing they did at one point, they get the team together like Mission Impossible, right? And one of the guys who was the head cop in a Wednesday refers to an operation at the Opera House. Now, what I love about this is I know what the reference was, and the reference was to Special 26. So I'm watching enough of these movies, and I'm starting to pick up these references. So I thought that was pretty cool. And he was funny, too, with his fake toupee that at one point he pulled off. He's just great. So now I'm jumping, but they go to the hotel now. Akshay's not there yet. And this guy, the bad guy, figures out she was a honeypot. She was just to lure him in, right? So he figures it out and starts slapping her around. And I'm like, oh, God, Akshay's going to come in and kick his ass. Well, and good for the film, this Shabanya just kicked this guy's ass. And it was great. And it wasn't fake like she was just like this super fighter that was just wiping him out. He got in some really good. I think he hit her one time with an ice bucket or a statue or something. And so he nailed her a few times, but she was just wailing on him. And the choreography was fantastic. So when he comes in to save the day, the guy's on the floor already. It was a great scene. And in fact, I liked it so much, I didn't realize that they made a sequel, which is actually a prequel, and it's her story. And I'm going to watch that now. It's called Naam Shabana, which was made in 2017. So I'm real curious. I want to watch this because I like this world. I like this ATS team. And I know Akshay's in it, but I want to see her kick more ass because she was great. So now to finish it off, okay. So the second half of the movie, they finally, and I'm skipping over stuff because I don't want to just do a plot line, but they finally get to the bad guy, right? The head bad guy. By sheer circumstance, they get to him. And it's pretty funny because this guy, who's a pretty evil guy and plays it well, for the second half of the movie just keeps getting injected and knocked out, except for one scene where he fights back and stabs Akshay, but nothing can hurt Akshay. You guys know that. In the second half of the movie, are they going to be able to get on the plane back to India? And that's the entire second half of the movie. And it works really well. The tension is there. The music, by the way, which was fantastic, really added to the tension. And there was no out of place musical numbers. Yes, there was music in it. There was one love song at one point when he gets together with his wife, but for the most part, there was no extraneous musical. There definitely weren't any musical numbers, but the background music, the incidental music was great. It just helped to build the tension of the scene. So I really liked that. And the climax was just great. And, you breathe a sigh of relief. And the twist, of course, is, and I kind of knew this was coming. They gave you little clues, but the one guy that you think is going to capture them, in fact, they have the airport hold all the planes, and then they go to this guy who's the investigator, who's trying to solve this whole thing, and he knows Akshay and his team, he knows they're on the plane, and it cuts from them to him, back to them, back to each one individually, and then they say, "Do you want us to? Is everything okay? Is everything all right?" And you go, do you want to hold the planes? No problem. No problem. And they go, so he was part of it, which I liked. He kind of knew that was coming, but it helped. It did add to the tension of the scene. So, yeah, I got to tell you something. I really enjoyed this film. I want to see more of this world. And so I'm going to watch this other one, Naam Shabana. And I'm going to see what else Akshay has done in this space, because I really do like this. Excellent. I give it 4 Ladoos. 4 Ladoos. Okay. I had problems with a couple of things, but nothing major. I don't know what film I'm going to watch yet. I still have a bunch. Gully Boy, Cocky. I've got a whole bunch of. I got a list of movies that I'm going to watch, and I'm going to make sure we get them out as quickly as we can. Okay. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a little over 10 minutes, but it's also I haven't spoken to you in a while. So speaking of that, why don't you subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and share if you think someone might like this. So we'll be back on schedule. We'll be back doing these reviews, and I appreciate everyone taking the time to watch it. So take care, and we'll talk to you soon.